Twitter algorithms amplify conservative content more than that of the political left. Researchers find. I'll go ahead and send this to you.
Quote unquote. Researchers find.
Right. I like how you said the conservatives are like just crawling out of the ooze or whatever when like now you're making just equally brain dead takes.
Listen, I'm not even making, like, all that I'm saying is that even if you just did it, so like you would say that you did this for your own deeply rooted moral and principled values, that you just like, you saw the errors in your ways and you had a change of heart, and now you're
Yes, maybe this is the problem with spending so much time in conservative circles, is you can't even fathom the fact that some people have principles. So, your message on Discord, can I read your little intro? Is that fair? Do you want to read it, maybe? Do you want to read it?
Go ahead. I'll read it. Sure.
Okay, go for it.
I said that I think you've kind of switched your current political position because it's financially relevant and socially accepted, as opposed to conservative views, which are ostracized and demonized. I just want to talk about that and about just how close you came to losing it all, with anecdotes from my own personal experiences, some of which I shared with you. However, I was not so lucky, I'll admit.
Okay. So I'll be honest, I've heard I switched my political beliefs for money card quite a lot. And I'll be fair, everyone who's come on here and tried to make that argument has looked like a total clown. But I will give you a chance, because maybe you can prove me wrong. So
can we just admit that, like, to some degree, it's true. Like, I'm not even trying to impugn you for it. And maybe it's not true to the degree that people like claim. Maybe it's not like true to the degree that like there's some sort of conspiracy about it. But on some degree, some level,
money did not influence this. No, money did not influence this. So let's write down your main points. So first it was money. Then there was the social acceptance versus the ostracized conservatives, which I'm going to take huge issue with too, because I don't think conservatives are ostracized. So social acceptance versus spelling horrible, don't care. All right. So let's knock off the first one, okay? Because I feel as though probably my viewers are very sick of hearing me argue about this one. Money. So no, nothing I did was influenced by money. This is demonstrated in a multitude of ways. The first being, I was making a lot of money making right-wing content. People try to say, oh, well, you were getting demonetized. No, I wasn't. I get demonetized more now, actually, because I like to do true crime documentary shit on my main channel now. So but I get demonetized more. There was no motivation for money, okay? Second of all, as I shifted my politics, I demonetized and or deleted videos that I no longer agreed with. So a lot of the times people try to point to old videos that have like 2 million views to impugn me from the other side. They try to say, Hunter, you're still profiting off of these hateful videos you made or whatever. And which I would say, no, I demonetized those videos. They're not monetized.
But it's that exact opinion that is the basis for my point. So if you were still that person today, do you think that you would be profiting as much or making as much if you still had the same beliefs, still had the same image, still were
Why wouldn't I?
Preaching the same message?
Why wouldn't I? There are a ton of people that had the same beliefs as me.
Who?
Are you kidding me right now? Wait.
Who's popular right now doing that?
Steven Crowder, Blair White, Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles. Do you want any more? Dave Rubin. What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
there are so many right-wing creators that are massive and usually receive gigantic amounts of funding from oil billionaires, like PragerU, for example.
But do you think that there's a socially accepted...
Wait. We're not moving to socially accepted yet. We're sticking with the money thing.
All right.
There's more money, arguably, in being a conservative influencer.
You believe that?
Yes. They tend to receive oil billionaire funding. Excuse me?
Or did you get oil money before? Were you on the like that level? But
no,
when you were
I was not that
conservative back then.
No, I was not at that level, but I did do some work with PragerU. That was probably the closest I got because they were funded by oil billionaires. But yeah, there's a good amount of money in preaching right-wing beliefs. Like, are you crazy? No offense. Like, we have Steven
Well, I
Crowder,
mean, you were
we
just
have
talking
Glenn
about
Beck,
how
we have
yeah, but you
Steven
were
Crowder,
just
we have
talking about
Glenn
how
Beck.
Nick Fuentes is banned from like all these sites, and you
Nick
know that a lot
Fuentes
of
isn't a
conservatives are
normal
banned.
conservative. This is the
But a
huge
lot of
problem that you guys keep running into is every time you think that you can see like some massive right-wing schizo that gets banned and then that turns into, oh my God, conservative views are getting all persecuted. No, not true. So we have Steven Crowder, who makes a fuck ton of money. We have Tim Pool, who is, I believe, the highest earning super chat donation stream, and he is primarily right wing. We have Joe Rogan. He's gigantic. He has enormous contracts with Spotify, and he is largely right wing. I would not argue that he is like a conservative. I wouldn't argue that, of course, but I would say that he definitely preaches more right wing beliefs, especially lately, as far as the COVID and the vaccine shit goes. So yes, there is a ton of money and influence in being right-wing. When I'm talking about right-wing, I'm talking about people like Ben Shapiro. I'm not talking about neo-Nazi schizoids like fucking Nick Fuentes. These are two different people two different categories in my mind.
But I mean, the average. So you don't think that the average conservative is going to face some sort of ostracization or harsh climate, like
Why
the
do you keep trying
inability
to move to
to.
the social acceptance when we're still
No,
talking about
I'm
money? Do
saying
you
that
want to
like
just
you don't think
concede
that
the
there's going
money
to be some
point?
friction. No, I'm saying you don't think that there's going to be some friction in a normal conservative today, just your average everyday person, if they have conservative views, if they want to get online and start a YouTube channel. You don't think that there's going to be some financial friction there?
What do you mean? Could you explain? Like, do you mean like if
It's going
there's
to
a
be
normal
more difficult
everyday
for them
Joe
to.
that if he gets a YouTube channel, he could get fired? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm saying that like I think it's going to be difficult for them to monetize their views, to monetize their channel, to earn money
Uh-huh.
financially
So why?
if
Why do
they
you
have
think that?
conservative views.
Why do you think that?
Well, that ties into my second point, that it's less socially accepted.
So again, that we can just go back to my original point then, which is you're wrong. Half the country is arguably Republican, conservative. I mean, look at how many votes Trump got, right?
And
So
online,
there
what
are,
is it? Who is represented online?
excuse me?
Who is represented online? What political party or what political
Actually,
values
all
are
available.
represented online by these big
Oh,
companies?
I'm really glad you asked. So all available data shows that conservatives do way better than liberal pages online. So Facebook, the algorithm treats conservatives way better because conservatives tend to get more interaction. And so the algorithm reacts to that and continues to spit out more right-wing garbage. There's also on Twitter, recently a internal Twitter memo or a study leaked showing that they were giving preferential treatment to right-wingers on their platform. So I'm very glad you asked. Thank you. So I could bring that to your attention. You're fighting an imaginary demon right now, my friend. There is no big tech censorship warring on the poor, the poor, sad little conservative victim. It's just not happening. There's going to be friction and there's going to be controversy whenever you talk politics, whether you're on the left or whether you're on the right. But again, all available data shows that algorithms on social media treat conservatives better, that conservatives dominate virtually every social media platform, and that there is a fuck ton of money and social acceptance in being a conservative.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I know
But
you don't because you're living in a fantasy world. This is like a fantasy. Like there's way more social ostracization, for example, for trans people. Now, that's
okay.
not a political thing, but they do tend to lean left in some ways. There's a lot of ways that we can track ways that people are harassed or face social ostracization. You can be ostracized for your politics in certain instances, sure, but again, I
Don't
don't
I know it?
but I don't really, no offense, care that much about your personal experience because I'm not denying that people aren't ever ostracized for their politics. Like, I mean, when I was conservative, I had a group of friends that didn't want to be my friend anymore because they didn't like my politics. But you cannot prove that that is disproportionately happening to conservatives necessarily. Like, there are also, by the way, examples of far lefties getting banned from social media platforms also. It made me, I mean, if we want to get into like anecdotes and just personal experience and stories, like I have someone in my chat right now who said they're super leftist and they're constantly getting banned from Facebook.
Right, and like individuals, I understand that. I'm not even trying to say that like people can't get banned when if you have like the correct political take. Like obviously there's a bunch of behaviors that are going to get you targeted and banned and that are going to be TOS or whatever. All that I'm saying is that online it seems that there's a disproportionate favoritism, if you will, or just like an overall like I don't know, social acceptance of certain left-wing beliefs, of certain like beliefs that are anti-conservative, that are, you know, it just seems that there's a acceptance to treat conservatives poorly and to kind of demonize them and to attack and harass them. And I think
Do
that
you think that
you, like
conservatives
any
ever
sane person,
demonize?
probably didn't want to deal with that.
Do you think that conservatives ever demonize left-leaning people?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most conservatives are barely out of the primordial ooze, but that doesn't make it less true. That doesn't make what I said less true.
Hold on.
And that doesn't mean that you
So
didn't,
there
like,
is a
that
lot of
none the-
I'm trying to find this thing for you. Like of course they're going to. Hold on, I'm sorry.
Listen,
I'm a
even if we
terrible
just say
multitasker.
that, like,
So Twitter
it's okay.
algorithms amplify conservative content more than that of the political left. Researchers find. I'll go ahead and send this to you.
Quote unquote researchers find.
Right. I like how you said the conservatives are like just crawling out of the ooze or whatever when like now you're making just equally brain dead takes.
Listen, I'm not even making, like, all that I'm saying is that even if you just did it, so like you would say that you did this for your own deeply rooted moral and principled values, that you just like you saw the errors in your ways and you had a change of heart, and now you're
Yeah.
now you're
Yes.
and
Yes,
what
maybe this
brought
is
that
the
along?
problem with spending so much time in conservative circles is you can't even fathom the fact that some people have principles.
Well, I mean, I can fathom that idea, but I'm just saying, what brought about this change of heart? Where's your motivation if it isn't the what I said it was?
So, hold on. Here is the report, which shows our research. Our results reveal a remarkably consistent trend in 6 out of 7 countries studied. The mainstream political right enjoys higher algorithmic amplification than the mainstream political left. The researchers wrote in a 27-page report. With data points, you can see the charts that they used. Yep. So, no, conservatives are not disproportionately harmed by any kind of algorithm on social media. Now, we can talk about, do conservatives disproportionately break the rules? Do conservatives disproportionately break TOS? Yeah. Are conservatives banned from social media more often? Yes. But why is that? Well, it's actually a conservative value that I believe in called personal responsibility. And when you sign up for a social media platform, you agree to certain standards and you agree to behave a certain way. And when you act outside of that, they have a right to ban you from their platform. And conservatives just do that more often.
Well, do you think that behavior that conservatives engage in is selected more frequently and targeted more frequently for bans than TOS breaking behavior on the left that people engage in?
I don't
Do
know.
you
It
think
would
that there's
probably I don't know. It would probably depend on how many reports it got. So a lot of people like to dig up little, like small little tweets and be like, how come this wasn't banned, but this tweet by Candace Owens that got a fuck ton
I
of
actually
likes?
don't like to do that, but yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of times people do that, and it's because no one really reports that. No one's going to report a tweet with 1 like, as opposed to a massive tweet spreading something hateful or some misinformation or whatever. Again, I would just say it's because conservatives are violating the rules more often. Like,
And
people
what I'm
try
not
to say
doing
though that the
is
rules target conservatives, but it's like you can be transphobic on YouTube and on Twitter. Look at Steven Crowder. Look at Ben Shapiro. They are transphobic. They preach hardcore transphobic beliefs all the time, and they're fine. They enjoy algorithmic amplification, actually. So it's just, if you don't violate the rules, if you don't go outside of your standard transphobia, if you don't start preaching about killing T words or using the T slur or whatever, then you're probably going to be okay on social media. This is like a victim narrative that I've been warring against now for almost 3 years. That conservatives believe that social media platforms are out to get them, and it's just not true.
So this this wasn't your motivation. It wasn't that like you wanted to avoid some sort of demonization or targeting or anything like that. It wasn't financial. It wasn't social. So what was your motivation?
My motivation was I saw evidence that conflicted with my previously held beliefs.
What does that mean?
What do you mean, what does it mean? It means exactly what I said. So when it came to issues like trans people, for example...
Can you say it again?
Yeah, so for example, when it came to trans people, I used to preach a lot about trans people being scary in the bathrooms, right? That kind of thing. I used to always preach about, think of the women, because how scary it'll be if a trans person who I think is a man walks into the bathroom. I used to say that all the time, and then it turns out there's actual studies that have studied states where they have gender-neutral bathrooms, and there's no uptick in reports when it comes to rapes in public bathrooms or molestations or any kind of assaults whatsoever. So evidence like that completely contradicts my previously held beliefs when it comes to, well, trans people bad, trans people scary. That's just an example, but yeah.
Just just really quickly, not to go down this rabbit hole too much, but is that what it's really about in that situation? I mean, like, is not wanting to share a bath. I mean, I don't really care, but I'm just saying it's like a woman not wanting to share a bathroom with a biological man. If she's uncomfortable with that, is it really like a rape or a molestation or like a sexual assault not happening that's the factor there? I mean, like, can't she be uncomfortable and also the person not be a rapist or whatever?
I mean,
And like
sure,
that
she can
still
be
a
uncomfortable
problem or something?
No, because discomfort is not necessarily a problem. So, like, what if she was uncomfortable by a black woman being in the bathroom? Like, that probably wouldn't matter.
It's not a white woman's bathroom. She doesn't have the expectation of going into a white woman's bathroom. It's not like,
So what if it
the
was?
bathroom is for white women.
Well, this is going down a
isn't. I mean,
huge
she's going
different
into a
rabbit hole because
women's
this is going down to how we
I
define
think this is
women.
going down the same rabbit hole.
No, this is going down to how we define women,
No.
et cetera, and how we
Right,
socially
and you're
recognize what a woman
redefining.
is. And
Right, and
I
you're
know that you
socially
think
recognizing
vagina
something
equals
else.
woman, but that's not necessarily true.
I don't
And
even
also
think that. You're telling me like
but
that's not even what I'm saying.
but there are stalls in the bathroom, right? Like,
I understand that, but I'm just saying like
you're not.
can't we do both? Can't we respect that like it isn't necessarily because you're trying to say that the woman is wrong for being uncomfortable and that she's not
Yes,
allowed to feel that way. And I'm trying to
I'm
say
not
that
saying
like
she's not
maybe
allowed
she
to feel
is.
that way. No, see, you're putting words in my mouth there. She's
So
can
are
feel
you?
that
You're
way.
putting words in my mouth when you said that like I that thought that like vagina equals woman, but it's okay. Let's
Okay,
just
well,
continue. Sorry.
she can feel however she wants, but simply feeling uncomfortable is not always an argument to remove somebody from your presence.
Right.
So no, I just if a woman is made uncomfortable, you'd have to ask, okay, so why are you uncomfortable? Well, because I'm scared of this biological man in the bathroom. Well, why? Because what else are they afraid of? They obviously are afraid of something happening like an assault, and then that you would have to fall back on the data. This is equivalent to like, I can still be afraid to fly in a plane, but it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense if we're talking about it on a statistical level, because the likelihood of me dying in a plane crash is very, very slim. Extremely.
Why is it?
So just my discomfort doesn't actually mean there's a problem there.
Okay, so why is it that the trans person's discomfort with using the bathroom that they were assigned at birth, how does that overrule the woman's
because that
understanding or
actually,
discomfort in?
yeah, because that
Go
actually
ahead.
does harm to both. So actually, the trans woman is at a much higher risk of being sexually assaulted by using the men's bathroom as opposed to them using the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity. So that's just a fact. So they are put at a higher risk of being assaulted themselves by using the wrong bathroom. So that does harm, first of all. Second of all, the refusal to just let them use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity, again, goes not only to putting them at a higher risk of being assaulted, but it also puts them into a place of mental harm. Since they are an oppressed minority, they're at a much higher likelihood to commit suicide as well, and social discrimination is oftentimes indicative of the suicide rate. So that's why, right there, is because it's harmful to the trans person to not let them use the bathroom that corresponds with their gender identity, but all you have is, well, the woman is uncomfortable.
And I think that there's like an equal amount of validity in that. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not even trying to say that like, oh,
Are
we have to
women
make all
facing,
trans
well, I
women
know
use
women do
fucking
still
men's
face social,
bathrooms.
women do face some social discrimination, but women are not disproportionately committing suicide because of social discrimination, whereas trans people are.
Okay, but I'm just saying that like that's again, we're like down to the I just think that you're quick to kind of debate bro me into this like, oh, my position is wrong. You're like I feel like we're like ancient philosophers or something dictating like some sort of like rhetorical battle here. Like the point is that there's problems that are ambiguous and like there's a lot of like things that are difficult and kind of hard to necessarily like come to some sort of foregone conclusion on. And you're trying to like say that, oh, there's the woman is wrong. There's like clear evidence of one way being the like
But there
absolutely correct
is.
stance.
This is the problem, is like you're saying that like it's wrong of me to say that, but like there is more evidence to suggest that there is not a risk to women sharing a bathroom with trans women. There's a bigger risk, however, to the trans woman sharing a bathroom with the men in the men's bathroom. That like there is a higher risk for one versus the other. So I'll give you a little bit of ground because I understand what you mean, that some people are uncomfortable and it might not be fair to sort of demand them to intellectualize their discomfort. I understand that as well. However, we are here right now talking and we're intellectualizing these issues ourselves. So the woman is allowed to feel uncomfortable. That's fine. I'm not complaining about that. Like I can't control what people are feeling. The problem is that you want to actually control other people's behavior based on what someone's feeling. Whereas, again, that leads to more harm to the trans person. We kind of went down the rabbit hole there a little bit. Do you want to get back to the, I mean,
Sure, that's fine.
do
And
you
for the
want to
record,
just,
my point
I would
isn't
just like to
yeah,
seal up this one part of the conversation before we move on to a next part. But
sure.
can we
And my
just
point
concede
isn't
then that I
to
didn't
like
change for money? Like I make way less money now. I get way less views. Like that's the way you make money on YouTube. And if I get less views, that just equals less money. And I've also lost over 80,000 subs. So where's the money in that?
or sure, we can concede the money part, I suppose.
Okay,
I
cool.
still think that there's like I still think that there is some sort of financial friction towards conservative values, but I won't necessarily I won't necessarily hold you to that being your motivation for changing your views.
Okay, cool. Well, I appreciate you being able to concede that I did not change my views for money. I appreciate that one. Um, and then I guess the social ostracization was sort of, I feel like we kind of addressed both of those to a degree. Because I would say there is more funding in conservative content and there is like some people do face some people are ostracized for their politics, but this happens on the left and the right. So like you'll have the sensitive liberals that don't want to be friends with the conservative memer or whatever, right? And then you'll also have like the racist uncle that doesn't want to be friends with the genderqueer niece. Like you have these kind of circumstances in both ways where some people are ostracized for their political beliefs, whether they're on the left or the right. I just don't know if it's fair to be like, oh, it's all happening to the boohoo conservatives when it's just not.
Yeah, I mean, are, I don't necessarily think that like you I feel like you have a lot of uh venom, it seems, for conservatives. What's with that?
I think that they do harm.
So you understand that you once did harm,
Yes, of course.
and so you think that the way to change minds is acting the way that you're acting now. You're bringing people over and helping them to do less harm by acting this way.
Yes. See, you're now arguing for civility politics. You think that I should
No, I'm
be
just asking you a question.
well,
I'm not arguing
what's the
for anything. I'm
insinuation
just
here? Hold
asking.
on, no. Please stop backpedaling like that. What is the insinuation of the question you're asking me? You're saying, do you think you're changing minds by acting this way? Yes, I do. Do you want me to just answer at face value? Yes, I do. I think that this is changing minds because I have people tell me that it's helped change their minds.
Hmm.
But my goal isn't
Well,
entirely to just change minds. Like, I'm glad that that happens, but part of the way that I do change minds is by making the conservatives look as fucking crazy as they are.
hmm.
See, what happens a lot, especially when it comes to like debates and shit, is a lot of people, and I appreciate you for conceding the money point, but a lot of people don't want to concede any arguments because they have ego invested in the conversation. But then there's people watching who don't. So they're hearing the beliefs that they hold also. They're hearing those beliefs being challenged, but they don't have any ego on the line. That is more likely to change their mind. It's for the people watching,
You
not
sound a
always
lot like a mutual friend of ours,
Are you talking about Vosh? Because I
the
think that
man
it's also
himself.
really important that people listening have their minds changed. A lot of the times when it comes to debate, I've already accepted I'm probably not going to change the mind of the person I'm speaking to.
Well, I mean, I suppose I'm not married to any of my beliefs. I guess you didn't change my mind necessarily about the conservative thing and the social media stuff, but I mean, like,
I mean, I
for the
gave
most
you
part, I'm
data
here to
about
hear
that from
you
the.
out.
I know, but I gave you data on the Twitter one. Do you want
Yeah,
me to
it
send you
just isn't
this?
very convincing because it doesn't like your data doesn't necessarily like overrule my lived experience and like in
No,
my
that's your
personal
fundamental
opinion.
problem right there. Is it does. It absolutely does. So this would be like if I had a friend that died in a car crash, and then you said, Hunter, your
Uh,
likelihood of dying in a
let's
car crash is
let's
pretty low.
let's
And I
leave
said,
the car
no, the
crash
data
analogies out
can't
of this, can
outrule
we?
my personal experience.
Can we
That's
leave the
not
car
how this
crash
works.
analogies out of this before we like go down any like too we already were talking about rapes and suicides and all this stuff. Let's keep things grounded in just some nice
I'm
uh
not here to try to, I'm
bright
sorry, I'm not here to
sunny-eyed
try to just be
analogies.
nice. I've seen you on a lot of other shows. I've seen you talk to Vosh. I have a general understanding of some of the political beliefs you hold. And uh, I'm literally giving you now
Well,
data that's contradicting what
that's the thing.
you are believing. And you're saying that that doesn't count because you have a personal experience. Do you realize by
Well,
that
no.
logic? Hold on, wait. I want you to understand something. By that logic, you could justify racism.
Uh, well, took a little bit of a jump there, but
No, not at all. So you could say, Hunter, the likelihood of a black woman stealing your groceries is very low. Here's a statistic that shows that this only happens to 1 in every 400 million people, or whatever. That would be a little absurd, but whatever. It's very, very rare to happen, right? Then I would say, no, I had a lived experience, and I don't think that your data can contradict my lived experience. Black women are dangerous. So do you
well, first of
understand
all,
how
yeah, that's
dangerous that
how
is?
people work.
I know.
That's not dangerous. That's how people work.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no.
yeah, like if
No,
somebody
stop. Just by saying that's how people work, that is dangerous because that justifies bad ideas.
it doesn't justify them per se. The person who says that like black people are dangerous is still wrong, but you're not going to convince them otherwise if they've had a personal experience that like is bad. I mean, like if somebody has a bad experience with something, you're not going to you telling them like you debate broing them about your data isn't going to change their mind. They're not going to be like, "Oh yeah, that black woman that like robbed me at fucking 7-Eleven last week. Oh yeah, she doesn't matter." Or like since my experience was only 1 in 400 million or whatever the fuck. I mean, oh sorry. Oh wait, I think I heard you cuss already, but the point is
It's
like
fine.
um uh the point is that you're not going to change that person's mind by telling her about your like debate bro data points. Like it's just not going to happen. And the thing is it's like you have to be okay with that. That's not like that person isn't more dangerous or that person doesn't have like harmful. They're wrong, sure. Like their ideas are incorrect, but that doesn't make them invalid, and that doesn't make their
What
lived
makes their
experience
beliefs
like
incorrect?
invalid.
I'm not
I
saying
just said that.
invalid. Wait, what makes it incorrect though? It's because the data exists to contradict that, right?
Sure, I suppose. But we're talking about changing somebody's mind, and you're just not going to change their mind. Like they won't
I
see
feel
their
like
view as
you didn't
incorrect.
hear what I said earlier, that I understand when I'm talking to people that I'm probably not going to change the mind of the person I'm speaking to. It's just very unlikely. Again, because they usually have a vested interest in some of their beliefs and they don't want to look bad while they're talking to someone else, I guess. But it's usually for the people that are listening or watching. So recognizing that that your likelihood of something happening is very low, that can be beneficial in ameliorating some of the negative feelings that you might have.
What I'm trying to say is that I don't think that there's value in kind of being uncivil with people who have lived experiences that contradict your data points. I mean, for every 399,999,000 people in the world, there's going to be that one person in 400 million who it does happen to, and that one person I don't
I
think
know.
deserves to be treated the way that you've treated
Hold on. You're
people like
missing
me in this call.
stuff. So I am not saying that your feelings or emotions are invalid because of data, and I'm also not saying because the data contradicts it, it means it didn't happen. It's usually the conclusions that are drawn from the lived experience. So that being, well, I went into a bathroom and there was a trans woman in there and she looked kind of scary. So now I don't want trans women in my bathroom anymore. That would be an example where I'd say, well, okay, you can have those feelings, but the data shows that there's really no risk here. So you don't need to like convince everyone in the world. Like, I know there are going to be some people that aren't going to have their minds changed, but I'm also like, I enjoy the aggressive approach. When I talk to people, when I get passionate, I get aggressive at the same time. It's just how I am. Even when I'm talking like off stream, if I'm in a serious conversation, I tend to just sound a little bit more heated because I just have a passionate way that I speak when I'm passionate about stuff.
And I think that brings us back to my original point. You just like doing this. I mean, this is just the way you are, right? You
I
watch Vosh, you watch Xanderhall, you watch Destiny, and you think, I like that. I want to do that.
um I mean, not necessarily. I also just like the ability to be able to defend my beliefs
Exactly. Thank
in a
you. Yeah, you like the
conversation.
ability to be able to defend your beliefs, which you have done, um, like very, very strongly this entire phone call. So I mean, like, I don't think that there's anything necessarily wrong with that. I'm just saying that that is why you are here, right? I mean, you like debating, you like defending your beliefs, and that's
And I
why
also think
you're
that my
on Twitch
beliefs,
doing it.
well, yeah, but I also think that the beliefs, like, I know everyone thinks that their beliefs are correct, but I think that, like, a lot of the shit that I fight against is things that are doing active harm to the world. So a lot of the conservative narratives right now around things like COVID are very dangerous, or election fraud. That shit's dangerous, right? So I fight back against that, or transphobia, even racism, even pushing against Black Lives Matter. I think that there's way more nuance in a conversation about Black Lives Matter than conservatives usually give. So a lot of the times I'm pushing back against the harm that I feel conservatives are doing to the world.
Because like that's just a means to an end, though. I mean, like there you if there was nobody, if the conservatives weren't doing harm, you would have nothing to debate against. So I mean, like, of course you think that, of course they have to be doing that because it gives you a dragon to fight. I mean, like,
But I don't feel
you
as
are
though
the one
I'm,
actually fighting the imaginary beast here, right? Because conservatives are actually relatively
no, I'm not
stupid and
fighting.
harmless.
Well, they are very stupid. That's a good point. But harmless, incorrect. So you can look at the rates of people with COVID or dying from COVID, even in red states. It's disproportionate where there are Republicans. This kind of misinformation and these harmful beliefs are leading to more hospitalizations, more deaths. I mean, we talk about January 6th all the time. Look at what happened there because of misinformation. And you're right, again, conservatives are stupid, but that's why oftentimes they fall for this misinformation and end up acting harmfully. Is that a word?
Um, yeah, I mean, the point here is that like you maybe if not for financial reasons, maybe if not for social clout, then just out of like personal desire to kind of embody or to move into this like debate bro space, had some changes of heart, had some political reformation, and kind of became this figure that was more akin to, I don't know, Vosh, for example.
No. I
You're
could
gonna say no to
wait.
that?
Could you
That is
could you
true.
wait. Could you repeat that?
That is
Could
just
you repeat
true.
that?
Okay, because you like out of a desire just to maybe if not for financial reasons, maybe if not for social clout, but
Mm-hmm.
out of a personal desire to engage in this debate bro space and to just be somebody more like Vosh, Sandra Hall, Destiny, or after watching them or after seeing what
Yeah,
they
that's where
do,
I'm going to
you're
say
like,
no. I'm not trying to be like anyone else. I can say that
okay,
I've
fine.
I've been
Then just
inspired before
you
by seeing some of their debate style, but
okay,
no,
you
I'm
were
not.
inspired
I'm
by
not
them
trying
and
to be Vosh.
you have
Me
a
and Vosh actually
personal
just disagreed with some stuff publicly.
okay, that's fine. But the thing is like you like what they were doing, you like their that kind of like style of content, you like that type of approach to things. And so out of that personal like desire to engage more in that space, engage with more with that content, to do more stuff like that, you went through this political reformation and this kind
No,
of like
nope, no, not at
so
all.
what
I did not watch Vosh and say, "Oh, I like his style, so I'm gonna switch to the left so that I can start being a
wait,
debate
didn't
bro."
you though?
So I watched Vosh somewhat, and I did like his style, but I did not switch
And
my
then
beliefs to be
he
like
helped you with
Vosh.
your
Hold on.
and he
I
helped you
did
with
not
your
switch my
political
beliefs to start making my content to be like Vosh.
okay, if not like your content like him, he helped you with your political reformation.
I had a debate with Vosh where he presented me with some of the data that contradicted the points that I
He
previously
helped
believed
you
in.
with your
And
political
then from
reformation.
there, I went on to just change myself. No, it's not like people like to think that I'm like Vosh's little puppet, or I think even Nick Fuentes called me
I'm
Vosh's
not saying that.
protege or something. But no,
I'm not saying that.
I
And
know
I'm not even trying to I'm
I
not
know
even
you're
trying to
not
harp on this.
necessarily saying this, but no. What happened was, I'll give it to you very clearly. I was in a place where I was rethinking a lot of things that I'd previously believed in my personal life. And then I also had a debate with Vosh where he then presented me with some evidence that contradicted my political beliefs. And I remember already thinking, man, if I was really this wrong about this thing in my personal life, then maybe there are other things in my life that I'm wrong about also, and I need to be a little bit more open-minded. And
And why did you do that?
from there, because it's called introspection and maturity. And so from
No,
there,
it's not. It's called
yes, it
shoe on
is.
head.
So from, hold on. So from there, I began to do my own research. I know, funny, a little cliche, but still, I began researching more. I began looking into shit more, and I found out that there was a lot of evidence that was contradicting my previously held conservative beliefs. From there, I also saw the rise of the Groypers and the alt-right, and I realized that the right wing, at the time especially, seemed to be heading in a pretty bad direction. I didn't like what I was seeing with the whole Groyper wars and shit. That's why I was one of the first conservatives to start shitting all over Nick Fuentes. So, no, this idea that I saw Vosh and then I decided to switch my content to get into debate sphere. No, I very, very recently decided to start trying debate. And that's because it is something I've been wanting to do. And yeah, I mean, I got a little better at it over time, but you can see where I debated Vosh, my content remained relatively the same for the next year. It wasn't until 2020 where I announced that I actually left the right. And even then, my content remained the same. It wasn't until this year, or well, I guess it would have been last year. It wasn't until last year that I really started trying to get better at debate.
You just essentially confirmed everything that I said. I mean, you just said everything that I said just in a different way.
Wait,
And
how? Your claim was
you
that
watched
Vosh
Vosh.
made me change my
No, I'm not.
content.
I'm saying he helped you with your political reformation. He helped you. Whatever that means, he helped you.
I mean,
And
we
I'm saying
debated
why
and I
I'm just
lost the
asking you,
debate to him, so that helped. Yeah, I guess if you want to put it that way,
why did he
sure.
help you?
Because I already explained this. Because he presented me with evidence that contradicted what I previously
Why did he
believed.
do that?
Because I was debating him.
No, he would never ever in the history of his fucking channel has taken the same approach with somebody who was on the right. You're the only person that he's ever done that with, and I'm just asking you if you know why. And maybe
I already
you
know
could
why.
give
You're
a
going to
thank
tell me
you.
because Shoe0nHead told him to be nicer to me or something, that I was a genuine person.
And have you ever told her thanks for that?
No.
Maybe you should.
What?
Maybe you should reach out and say thank you because you were that close to certain. I mean, look at me. You said you've watched me. You said you've seen my debate with Vosh. What happened after my debate with Vosh? Or how did he treat me? You've seen
Me
it?
and
How did
Shoe
he
don't
treat
really
me?
get along very well. Like, did you see that recently?
Well,
Shoe0nHead
that was
was
very
like,
nice of her to do that for you then. What
did you see
happened
that
when
recently?
and
Hold on. Did you see
go
what
ahead.
happened recently on Twitter where she told me that I should go back to being a MAGA kid because I said that the CIA wasn't all bad?
I missed it, but also Vosh doesn't work for the CIA. The CIA doesn't work in the United States. It works outside the United States. But anyway, continue. I didn't
Yeah,
miss that
it's
part.
just me and like I'm not sure what you're getting at. What's your point here? That I should go and thank Shoe0nHead? Why? Like we don't really get along that well. We've debated a couple times. We're amicable, but
What would have happened if she didn't tell Vosh to be nice to you?
wait, did you watch the debate between me and Vosh? Because he wasn't particularly nice to me.
Did you watch the debate between me and Vosh? He wasn't particularly quote unquote nice to me either, but it also changes. But the a level of venom, the level of toxicity, the level of hate, and the amount of like actual direct like harm he's does to you as a person or your career was lessened in your debate because of Shoe0nHead. And because of Shoe0nHead, he
No,
even
he was already
helped
attacking
you.
me repeatedly. So
So you're
before
saying
Shoe,
now that Vosh attacked you and
so
he
before no
hurt
no no
your career actually.
no, no, I am saying simply that I'm not sure when Shoe0nHead reached out to Vosh. I know Vosh mentioned it, and that's all I've heard about it.
So now we
But
don't
I
agree that
do know
Shoe0nHead
that
helped.
he was making several videos attacking my content, and then I tweeted him,
And
and then
then
he was going to debate me, and then it was right before that debate that then Shoe0nHead said, "Hey, Hunter's actually pretty genuine, so
oh,
you
so
might
we
want to
do
take a
know
different
when Shoe0nHead
approach."
reached out to Vosh
So it would. I
right
mean,
before the
I would.
debate.
I'm not sure if it was right before the debate, but I would assume
You
it would
just
have.
said it was.
Okay, I'm sorry. I would assume it would have been after he made the videos on me. I don't have a perfect timeline here in my head.
Let's
What is the point
assume.
you're trying to make? Because I'm starting to just get
I'm trying to
frustrated because you're
say
just talking in circles, not saying anything.
I'm not talking in circles. I'm saying that Shoe0nHead reached out to Vosh, who then in turn went and debated you in a way that was favorable to you and
No,
that helped you
he did not
in
debate me in a way that was
some
favorable
way.
to me. No,
Oh, so he
he did
debated
not
you in
do
a
it
way
to
that
try to
was
help
not
me.
favorable to you?
No, he went in there and he wasn't as mean, maybe, but he still was not like, I'm going to be favorable. He challenged me like hardcore. It was the most challenging debate
Which
I ever
was
fucking did.
beneficial to you.
No, wait. Okay, it ended up being beneficial to me, but you know he didn't realize that,
Perfect.
right?
You, oh,
What is your
that was just happened.
point? That because Shoe0nHead reached out to him, he took an approach that then helped change my beliefs somewhat? Yes, everyone fucking knows this.
Perfect. So why argue against it so hard?
But no, because you're saying things that are wrong. You're saying he debated me in a
You
way that
said
made me
what I said.
look favorable. That is not what he did. He didn't debate me
Well,
in a way
isn't
that
that
was
what you just said?
favorable to me. It ended up working out and helping me change my beliefs somewhat. But no, you're framing this completely wrong. He did not softball me, is what you're trying to say. He didn't like go easy on me, all right? He challenged me. He went hard. He was mean. We didn't end like, all right, dude, well, it was a nice convo. Can we play some Fortnite tomorrow? Okay, dude, yeah, no. No, none of that happened. Like, we had a pretty challenging, hardcore debate, and then that was it. I was like, oh, there were some things that I realized I was wrong on. And then it wasn't until next fucking year that I announced that I left the right. So no, I reject your framing that he did this in some favorable way for me. And I keep feeling like you're trying to take this somewhere else. Like, I don't like feeling like I'm being led somewhere. So what is your point?
I mean, that was essentially it. Just that, maybe that's something to keep in mind when you're interacting with Shu in the future. I think that had she not done that, then where you are right now would certainly be different.
So this
And I
whole
just think that that's something
conversation
to
has
keep in
been
mind.
here for you to simp for Shoe0nHead. Is that what
I
I'm
don't
getting
even
at?
I
Like,
don't even personally I don't interact with her at all. I don't know who she is. I've never
s-
watched her content. I'm saying that I personally, you and I personally both have interacted with Wash. Now, of course, he engaged with me in an incredibly negative way and
he
went
engaged
on
with me in a
to
negative way too. Yeah, go ahead though.
not exactly to the
Yeah,
same
he did.
degree.
No, he did. He made several videos
He did.
attacking me. He actually raided one of my
He called
YouTube
me a
streams,
pedophile. He
pressured
made up
me
a
to
fake
fucking
claim about me being a pedophile.
pressured me to
He
debate.
made up
Finally, I
a
was like,
claim
all right,
about
I
me
guess I'll
being a
do it. And
pedophile.
then he went pretty ham on me in the
He
debate
lied
anyways.
to his audience and told them to harass and attack me, doxed me,
I don't
and
care
called me a
about any of
pedophile,
this. I
knowing
want
that
to
there
know
was no
what your
evidence.
point is and why you're
He
saying that
made
because
I'm just
Shoe0nHead
saying, why
reached
would
out
you
to
say that
Vosh at one point that somehow means I need to be nicer. First of all, I didn't need you to tell me this because I already explained that me and Shu are amicable at the least. And when we debate, talk about going soft, I go very soft when engaging with Shoe0nHead because I don't think very highly of her, no offense. So yeah, like this idea that I need to somehow be even nicer than I already have been to her is just absurd. All because she reached out to Vosh at one point. It's like this is a null point. I actually don't even know what your point
What about
is. I guess
what
just
about
be
just
nicer to
nicer in
Shoe0nHead.
general? What about just understand where people are at in life and maybe just not
It would be
throw
helpful if
around
people could help me understand better because you're not helping me understand where you're going with this or where you're at with any of this. Like, no, I'm not a nice person. I'm not a civil person. I don't get on my stream to put the little kid gloves on. When I'm going to be fighting with people that I think are harmful, I'm going to go hard on those people. That aggressive approach, mind you, is what ultimately helped in changing my mind to a degree. So I would say that that's important. Sometimes that aggressive style works.
Well, I suppose time will tell. But
Time will
I'll let you
tell.
go. I appreciate your time.
Well, why is it that why is it that conservatives are way more aggressive towards me usually? Like we just went over the Nick Fuentes thing. Like the shit he's saying about me, like I don't see me going out insulting people's wives and families.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's wrong, obviously, and I think that that's he also is being a little bit uncalled that is uncalled for and inappropriate as well, but that doesn't mean that you just get to throw it back at him. No,
It
somebody
kind of
has
does.
to do
Sort of does.
better. We can't just
If it's him
have a race for
directly.
the bottom here.
I mean, I guess this is a conversation for another day, but no, I'm sorry. I tend to get aggressive and passionate when I'm dealing with people that I find to be insufferable, and that's just what happens. So, yeah.
And that's kind of you've moved into a space that allows for that, right?
No, I was already aggressive. Do you remember the kind of content I made when I was right wing? I don't know if you ever saw it, but I was extremely aggressive. I've always been a very aggressive, abrasive person. That's just always been my style, and it's not going to change anytime soon. And it's not going to change because I offended Shoe0nHead on your behalf or something.
Well, something like that. But all right, Hunter, I appreciate it. Have a good day.
See ya. Oh my god. That guy was really annoying. I did become a little calmer. After he conceded the money bit, I was like, okay. Also, heads up, I made a bad argument. Because I wanted to clarify this because I wanted to post this debate. The justifying racism point was bad because then you could always flip that on its head and say, well, if the stats show otherwise, would it justify being racist? I did get pretty frustrated though because the dude was frustrating. Like I kept feeling like he was trying to lead me somewhere and then he just wouldn't make a fucking point. I was like, okay, what are you saying? Are you just trying to say that Shoe0nHead talked to Vosh? Like I already knew this. What is your point? So I don't know. But other than that one argument I made, which was bad, the rest of it, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. That was mind melting. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you get notified when I drop a new video.